Hello chess fam, it's me National Master Jesse James, and today we're going over a very special game. This is actually done by local player David Pacheco against one of our young rising stars here in San Antonio, Srikar. And well, I had to go over this game because, well, it was a very nice upset by David. With that being said, one of the reasons why I want to go over it is because, well, it's unsung heroes, A lot of chess players, we love to play chess. We never make Grandmaster, International Master, or anything of the high level, but we always are playing to try and strive to play that perfect game. And in this one, David far exceedingly outplayed his opponent in a very, very beautiful game. So let's go and take a look at this one. Here we go. We start up with e4, c5. We start with the Sicilian right here. Now David is playing with the white pieces. Knight f3, knight c6, d4, c takes, knight f6, knight c3, and here we go. We're going to go for that very strong Sicilian, the Lasker Pelican variation, or some people will call it the Scheknikov, depending on the move variation. To me, they're all the same over here. But e5 gets played, and well, the game is going to start getting crazy here. Now, Srikar has been one of my students, and a lot of my students, I will at some point teach them this opening with e5, because, well, this is a very aggressive way to play, and you can get very, very good games for yourself, especially if your opponent is not booked up. With that being said, unfortunately for Srikar, he was still learning this opening, so of course when you're learning it, you still make some basic mistakes. And well, David was able to take advantage of them. Here, David knew the main line. Here we play the knight d to b5. A very nice move here, putting pressure on the d6 square. Well, Srikar knows what to do here. We go ahead and play pawn to d6. Bishop g5, and this is all about controlling this d5 square right here. In a perfect world, at least for white, here white would want to trade off all the minor pieces and keep the knight on d5 against the dark square bishop. So these guys trade off, and well, these guys go ahead and trade off, only leaving good knight versus bad bishop as the pawn structure is just bad. I mean, that's another thing that I just really obsessed me with this whole Scheknikov kind of setup, is that you have a backwards d-pawn on an open file, but black has such good counterplay, they can really create some great things here. And Srikar did do a good job by doing it. Unfortunately, he makes one bad move, and David takes him out. All right, here we go. a6 gets played. We're still in main line here. Knight back to a3 and pawn b5. A nice little subtle threat of pawn to b4. And here we go, knight to d5. Already the strategy's in place. Again, we want to try and trade off all the minor pieces so that it's bad bishop against good knight right here. Bishop e7 got played. And here, a move that doesn't get played too often because, well, strategically speaking, it's not the best. Here, David plays knight takes on e7. And Srikar has tried this also, as I've played the black side against him with this, and well, this is just not the best here. Again, theoretically speaking, you want to keep that knight there, so most people here are going to be playing bishop takes on f6, which has a very good win rate here for white. And after bishop takes, well, you can see that this bishop's just bad and this knight's just good, and white has a pleasant positional advantage. So David took it upon himself. He said, you know what, I like this dark square bishop. Knight takes on e7 right here, and here knight takes on e7 back. Here knight takes e7 actually is one of the top moves to play here. With that being said, I'm very, very skeptical, even though I know the lines, and I play queen takes on e7 here. I just don't like this idea of getting the double pawns, which again is very, very common. And here we're still in theory. So after knight takes on e7, bishop takes on f6, because why not? And already it's becoming a more equal game here with black having a good advantage. G takes on f6. And here there was only one good move here, well, at least as far as the lead chess studies go, that gives white really good winning chances. I will implore you, or I will ask you, please push pause and see, what does white play here to get a good advantage? What is the best plan here? All right, hopefully you push pause and try to figure this one out. Here, there's plenty of moves that you can try here, and many, as far as the masters goes, they've tried quite a few moves here. Here, bishop d3 has been played, which looks like a good move. One of the big things for black is trying to get d5 or f5 in, so bishop d3 definitely covers that f5 square. With that being said, this does well. This was not played. What else can you play around here? I think someone else said queen f3. Yeah, queen f3 is a move and has been played, but doesn't really work out too well here. Here, black has the very nice pawn to f5 and undermining the center here, and this is going to happen in most variations anyways. So queen f3 just really, well, it doesn't really impress anybody here. With that being said, David played one of the best moves in this position, which has a 31% win rate for white, 62% draw, with black with the under 10% over here for black. So this was definitely one of the best ways to play. What was the move? Here, get barbaric and get ready to attack. Queen to d2, a move I think I would have a hard time playing because, well, it looks like black is doing a good job here pushing forward on the queenside. So, well, why would you castle that way, right? Queen d2 is saying, I'm going to castle queenside, and, well, I'm going to put pressure on your d6 pawn. A very, very good move. All right, well, Srikar went ahead and played bishop b7, which makes sense here. I don't like it too much. I would have kept it a little bit more flexible with bishop b6, but I definitely understand bishop b7 here because, well, it's going to develop with the threat, attacking the pawn. And, yeah, d5 or f5 has to get played pretty soon here. And black is slightly better in this position. Well, f3 got played, just going ahead and defending the pawn. And now here we go, pawn to f5. And this turns out to be the mistake that gives white the advantage. Well, I mean, it looks like a good move to me. I like it because, well, it's messing up with the pawn structure, but with castling coming forward and d6 pawn getting weak, it definitely can be bad. And, well, that's how the game continued. Pawn takes, knight takes, and then bishop to d3, getting a nice developing with the threat move here. And here, unfortunately for Srikar, he does not make the best choice here, and he goes ahead and plays knight back to e7. And this turns out to be just because of poor development. He is getting into a bad position. Also, the king's having a hard time here too because, well, which way do you go? Do you go queen side where you're, well, where your king is definitely opened up, or do you go king side where your king is definitely opened up, right? It's really hard to choose where to move here. And that's why I think I definitely would have tried this queen to h4 check move because, well, I think one of the best moves here for white, or really one of the only ones really, is to play this queen to f2. And I would just go ahead and trade off here because, well, I like these 3 pawns in the endgame. I think this will give about roughly equal chances here for both of them. Srikar in particular. With that being said, you know, g3 can get tried here, but then the computer found this beautiful line. Knight takes, and of course we don't take back because of the pin. Queen f2, and now queen b4 check, pawn c3, with knight takes h1 over here, and black is just winning. Oof, what a beautiful line there. With that being said, in the game, knight e7 got played, and now it was Pacheco to play and win pretty much at this point. He goes ahead and castles queenside. And here the final bad move, queen to c7. It is now white to move and win. Push pause if you want to or enjoy the show. What do you play here? All right, from now on, it is, like I said, pretty much a forced win here by white because, well, he does 2 very nice things. He's going to do a nice sacrifice here, which is with bishop takes on b5. And this is actually a very common sacrifice. Why is this so good? For so many different reasons. But the first one being is the king's in the center. We need to attack him. This knight that was once terrible is now going to be the best piece in the game. So with this sacrifice, you're going to be giving up your bishop for 3 pawns, which is great because now you're going to have 3 passed pawns. So endgames are really good here. If you had a choice between a piece or 3 passed pawns that are connected, you best be choosing those passed pawns. Remember, you can win with that game. The bishop or the knight will not be enough to checkmate with. So here you're going to get 3 pawns for the piece, and the king is going to stop castling. From now on, it is pretty much game over. A takes on b5, knight takes on b5. Now the queen's being attacked in d6. Queen went to c6, knight takes on d6 check. You don't want to run anywhere to the d file as well. There's a lot of simple moves here. I think the simple one would just be knight takes b7 check because of the discovery. So the king has to run to f8. And again, this is just so simple. You might think that David was cheating or getting some kind of help here. But if you sit down and just look at the game, you'll see all these moves are just so natural. And with this simple sacrifice right here, it's just a very easy win. Here we go. The next move, simple chess. Queen to h6 check. No other move. King has to go to g8. And now a very nice move by David right here. White to move. What do you play? Here we go ahead and play queen to f6. A very nice move. Threatening checkmate on f7 and the undefended knight. You don't have to be a GM to find these kind of moves here. And when you put your opponent into these kind of winning positions, well, they're going to be finding them. Here we go. Black has only one good move here. Rook to f8. Queen takes on e7. And things are getting worse here. I just won the knight over here, and well, now I'm threatening checkmate on g5 because the knight was protecting earlier. That's why we didn't check. And also the bishop here on b7. So now he's losing another piece here. I definitely felt bad for Srikar in this game because, well, once you're playing a new opening, things could go bad. And believe me, things went really bad in this one. Pawn h6 got played, covering the g5 square for the checkmate. And now queen takes on b7. Queen to a4. A nice little move here to put pressure on a2 pawn. And here David finishes the game up, positionally speaking, with queen to d5. Now the rest of the game, I would say David did not play the best technique here for the endgame, but with this big advantage here, it was pretty hard to lose it. So we're going to continue with king h7, queen e4 check, Queen takes, knight takes. Here I definitely like the pawn taking back because, well, it's going to give the open file and the weak pawn here. This knight's looking so good here. As you're going to see, he's going to get kicked away. F5. Knight to G3, rook to G8, rook to D7 check, king to H8, rook to G1. Again, not my most favorite moves here, but definitely winning. Rook G5, knight to E2, rook doubled up to attack the G2 pawn over here. Pawn to G3, pawn F4, rook over to D1. Again, not the best play here, but still winning here pretty easily. Rook over to H5, rook over to D8. A very nice idea. He's just going to be trading off pieces now. Rook takes on H2, rook takes, king takes, and rook to E1. Just keeping things nice and simple here. Pawn to E4, knight takes, pawn takes, rook over to F1. Srikar will not be resigning in this game. Pawn to F2, knight to D3, rook to G2, and rook takes on F2. We can go on and on, but at this point, well, you can pretty much tell that this was going to be a very easy win here for David Pacheco. I mean, at this point, I think David still has a good hour on his clock, and, well, I think Srikar maybe had like 30 or 40 minutes left in the game. Well, guys, hope you enjoyed this. Remember, everybody will have that one game where you got to outplay your opponent beautifully, and, well, dang near, well, this was a beautiful showing of that. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this. We'll see you in the next video.